the beginning, Bartholomew Cubbins didn't have 500 hats. He only had one. It was a very old hat that belonged to his father, and to his father's father before him. It was probably the oldest and plainest hat in the whole kingdom of Din. Did. But you see, Bartholomew liked it, especially because of the one feather that always stuck up in the air. The kingdom of Din was ruled by
King Darwin.
His palace was high on top of a mountain. It was a mighty view, but it made King Derwin feel mighty important.
Far off in the fields, on the edge of a cranberry bog, stood the hut of the Cubbins family. It was exactly the same view that King Derwin saw from his balcony, but Bartholomew saw it backward. When we look to literature for morals, we don't normally look to Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss, author of profound statements like, a person's a person, no matter how small, or one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
A lesser-known Dr. Seuss tale of courage,
Shing of kings,
and of
hats. Oh, cool.
hats.
Through the story of Bartholomew Cubbins, we learn that anything, no matter how old or small or insignificant, can become extraordinary. So accompany us today as we present The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins
By Dr. Seuss. One Saturday morning, Bartholomew started for town. In his right hand, he carried a basket of cranberries to sell in the market. Silver trumpets rang through the air. Create a white, make way for the king.
Hats off for the king.
Well, do you not take your hat off before your king?
I do take off my hat before my king.
That's your hat in your head. What's in your head?
My head? It's a hat! Bartholomew quickly snatched off the hat. It was exactly the same as his own, and with exactly the same feather.
But I took it off. I took it off twice.
Nonsense! Horrendous, you human trickster! We'll teach him to take off his hat.
With a jingling of spurs and a clatter of horseshoes, the captain and Bartholomew fled the winding street toward the palace.
His Majesty waits in the throne room. Follow the black carpet.
In the very middle of the throne room, the king was sitting on his throne. Behind him was Sha'alarin, keeper of the ramparts.
Oh, young man, I'll give you one more chance. Will you take your hat off for your king?
Well, I wouldn't know if we could do anything. And he took off his hat. He took off hat after hat after hat after hat until he was standing in the middle of a great pile of hats.
Heaven, he's taking off 45, and he must add on 3 more from down in the town.
And there were 87 more.
87 more.
135 hats. Most unusual. So, Alaric, what do you make of all this nonsense?
It's very serious nonsense, Your Majesty. I suggest you call in an expert on hats.
Excellent. Oh, God, fetching Snips, maker of all hats for our fine lords. Sir Snips.
Take a look at that boy's hat. Your Majesty, I Snips am the maker of all the fine hats for all the fine lords. I have made hats of cloth and gold, of fine silks and ostrich plumes. You ask me what I think of that hat. It is the most ordinary hat that I have ever seen.
Well, in that case, it should be very simple for you to take it off. my realm, fetch the yeoman of the bowman. Yeoman of the bowman.
Ah, ha ha. Yo, man. Yo, man.
Shoot off this boy's hat and make it stay off.
Like a mad giant hornet, they were towards the air, straight toward Bartholomew.
The sharp arrowhead bit through the hat and carried it off. Yet there stood another hat. Ha ha! That's a black magic.
Black magic! That's just what it is. I should have thought of it before. Call my magicians. Woody, woody, woody. Dig a hole 5 furlongs deep, down to where the night snakes creep.
Mix and move the mystic might.
Malba, Balba,
Deed of time.
Stop this useless muttering! I want a chant that will charm away this boy's hat. Hum, 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 hum.
Winkerbus, Tinkerbus, Farty Clay, hat on the demon's head, fly far away. Yow cats, yowl away, yowl away, hat on the demon's head, never come back.
A mighty good chant. Oh, are you sure to work? There still seems to be a hat upon his head.
Be calm, O sire, and have no fears. Our charms will work in 10 short years.
10 years? A wayfarer was out of my sight. I can't wait 10 years to get rid of his hat. Oh dear, what can I do? What can I do?
And I would think that I would chop off his head.
A dreadful thought. I'd hate to. He seems like such a nice boy.
Down. Down. I suppose you'll have to do away with him.
Do away with him?
Yes, send him up to the highest turret.
Highest turret.
And then push him up.
Push him off?
Push him off.
Oh, push him off.
King Durwin led Bartholomew to the highest turret.
This is my last chance, my very last chance. I must take off my hat, I must. 448, 449, 450.
The hats began to change. Hat 451 had not 1 but 2 feathers and a little red jewel. Each new hat was fancier than the one before.
Look, Your Majesty, look.
Oh, step a jump there on that boy. I can't wait to push you off.
But when Bartholomew stepped up onto the wall, they all gasped in amazement. He was wearing the most beautiful hat in the whole kingdom of Din. It had a ruby, and it had paradise plumes, and cockatoo plumes, and mockingbird plumes. Besides such a hat, even the king's own crown seemed like nothing. But Bartholomew thought his time had finally come.
Oh, wait! Oh, it'd be nice if you'd send me that wonderful hat.
Okay, 488, 499, 500!
Will you send it to me for 500 pieces of gold?
Anything you say, you see, I've never sold one before.
Bartholomew felt the weight of the great hat lifting from his head. Then suddenly he felt the cool evening breeze blow through his hair.
Look, Your Majesty, look!
No, you look at me.
And then the king sent Bartholomew home with no basket on his arm and no hat on his head, but with 500 pieces of gold in a bag.
Neither Bartholomew Covens, nor King Durwin himself, nor anyone else in the kingdom of Did could ever explain how this strange thing had happened.
They could only say that it had happened to happen.
And was not very likely to
happen again.